Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. So today is 7th of June and in this session we are going to discuss the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper. So guys, as you know that we used to stream the video live, but today because of the internet issue we are not able to stream it live. So guys, first of all, I would like to tell you that in this session we will be discussing or we will take the overview of the entire session so that you can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's newspaper. So here we have the first page of the Delhi edition, and the first article the first page we find here the article CBI gathers evidence. Now this is in the context of Odisha train accident, okay, and then there are other issues. However, nothing is important with respect to the examination, so you can just skip it. And now moving to the next page. So guys, then we have this city section, and in the city section largely we have the regional political issues etc, which are not important again for the examination, so we will directly be moving. Then we have these advertisements, and again a lot of political regional issues advertisements are there, so we will be skipping it and directly will be reaching to the editorial section. Now in the editorial section, the first article, Indian polity a democratic diagnosis, we'll see this particular article for the examination. Then guys, here further we have this article, global order as technologies much needed pole star. We'll see this particular article also with respect to the examination. Here the article is talking about the world test cricket, okay. So guys, nothing much important for the examination is there, so no need to go too much in detail in this particular article, okay. Then further moving on guys, here the opinion page, seeing India's energy transition through its state. We'll see this particular article for the examination as what it is talking about. LDF progress report. Now this is a political article, you are not required to go too much in detail in this particular article, okay. Then China overtakes the US in scientific research output, okay. So here guys, see this particular thing, the article is actually talking about the basically that the number of papers that are being published in the science and engineering, okay. So China basically is publishing more papers, so here you can see these particular comparisons charts have been given, okay. Then further moving on in this particular direction, we come to the text and the context page. And on the text and the context page, here we have this article, why is there trouble in Kosovo again, okay. So we will see this particular article, the entire issue with respect to the Kosovo, all the crisis we are going to take up what has been provided here. Then further moving to the next text and context, deconstruction theory, how it challenges the text and system of the meaning making. Guys, understand this particular thing. So basically Jack Derrida's deconstruction theory with respect to the linguistics have been given. So guys, for the examination the article doesn't contains much of the substance, so this is the linguistic theory, okay. So talking about the words, their meanings and all such kind of a things, okay. So no need to go for too much in the examination. Hectic preparation for PM's US visit. So guys, we have all earlier seen this particular thing also, that the Prime Minister of India is scheduled to visit the USA, so that planning etc are being talked about, okay. Nothing much important with respect to the examination guys in this particular direction. However, when the Prime Minister will go to US, then we need to see that what important key takeaways etc have happened, some new announcements, if some new policy framework if it has been announced. Then further moving on, we have just the political regional related issues, nothing much important, okay. Accident probe team members now submits a note on disagreement. So this basically the issue with respect to the Odisha railway accident is going on, okay. Now coming here on the page number 14, 508 districts in country are free of manual scavenging. We'll see this particular thing, the data has been presented by the Ministry of Social Justice, okay. Then further moving on, doctors must strictly comply the law on reporting POCSO offenses, Karnataka High Court. We'll see what this article is actually talking about. Fine. Modi's school to be developed as a model institution, okay. So basically it is to be developed as a model school, fine, called Prerna, fine, so that the youth can get inspired, fine. Then further moving on, in this particular direction guys, we come to the world page. However, on world page largely the evolutionary issues, fine, frontline dam blown up in Kherson, Russia Ukraine blame each other, fine. Not you are not required to go to every day in these particular things, fine. China Russia conduct air patrol over sea of Japan. Now here we can see this thing that the Iran have unveiled their new hypersonic missile. We'll see this article. Then guys, further retail inflation likely eased in May. Again, I have told you many number of times that you are not required to track month by month data with respect to the movement of inflation and all such kind of things. Internet economy to hit $1 trillion by 2030. We'll see this particular article. Then we have the corporate trends, etc. No need to go too much in detail. And then guys, after the sports page, moving on, in the last we have, there is one particular science page, and here the pandemic treaty is being discussed. So we will take what is this pandemic treaty. So this is guys the overview of the entire newspaper. I hope that you have understood it, and now let's discuss all the relevant articles one by one in the detail articles before starting. Now guys, in every class we take a GS quotation which can be used to complement our answers in the GS paper number 1, 2, 3 and 4. And today we are going to take the quotation from Mehboob ul Haq. So Mehboob ul Haq says that in the last analysis, human security means a child who did not die, a disease that did not spread, an ethnic tension that did not explode, a dissident who was not silenced, a human spirit that was not crushed. So guys, see, we always talk about the national security, we talk about the food security, but what about the human security? So human security means how cumulatively we can enhance the conditions for the human living. So what is a human security? Human security is to ensure a child who did not die, fine, to ensure child health, to ensure child nutrition, a disease that did not spread, to provide the best of the best health care, an ethnic tension that did not explode. So we need to create harmonious conditions for the society. A dissident who was not silenced. So we need to respect the freedom of speech and expression, even if the speech and expression is of our criticism. So when all these things cumulatively provided, then finally the human security will come, which is something which is needed in all the welfareist democracies. So this is all guys about the GS quote for today. And now let's take the first article. Now guys, starting up with the first article. So the first article we have taken from the text and the context page, and it reads that why is there trouble in Kosovo again? So we will see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, international affairs, international issues. Now, first of all guys, before going on in this particular article, let's understand some of the basic geography. So guys, here you can see a map, and on this particular map here you can see that there is Serbia, and here there is this Kosovo. So in orange color there is this Kosovo. First of all guys, when we talk about the boundaries of the Kosovo, we can see this particular thing that on the north there is a Serbia which is making the boundary. Then we see this particular thing that there is a North Macedonia which is making the boundary. Fine, Bulgaria doesn't makes a boundary, direct boundary with the Kosovo. So keep this particular thing in your mind. Then there is this Albania which is making a boundary with Kosovo, and then Montenegro is there which is making the boundary with the Kosovo. So right now you see that Kosovo is a separate country and the Serbia is a separate country, but there is a complex history between the Serbia and Kosovo, because of which there is always a dispute going on between Serbia and Kosovo. So we will understand that what is this complex history and why these recent clashes between the Serbia and Kosovo had started. And guys, to tell you some context, the disputes between the Serbia and Kosovo has increased to such an extent that NATO, that is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is a grouping led by the USA, they have to support 700 peacekeeping troops to the Kosovo region to bring the peace. Now, first of all, guys, understand this particular thing that when we talk about the Kosovo and Serbia, both of these countries are the part of the Balkans. Now, Balkans is that particular part of the region of the Europe which were once the part of the Republic of Yugoslavia. Now, so basically, when we talk about the Kosovo and the Serbia, these two were not the separate countries, but they both were the one. So Kosovo was earlier the part of the Serbia only, and in 2008 actually the Kosovo declared its independence from Serbia. But Serbia had never liked the Kosovo's decision to gain independence, and since 2008, again and again, Serbia says that the Kosovo is not a sovereign country, rather, it is an integral part of the Serbia. But, guys, as we talk about the today, so as of today, more than 100 nations have actually recognized Kosovo as an independent country, and even the USA and many of the European Union member countries have also recognized the Kosovo as an independent country. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about the Serbia and Kosovo's history, so understand this particular thing that actually the Kosovo became the part of the Serbia in 12th century. In the 12th century, so fine. And since then, what has happened? Large number of Christian churches, large number of monasteries, which are culturally very much important for the Serbia, they have been constructed in Kosovo, and Kosovo has become the cultural heartland of the Serbia. Okay, now what actually happened? So basically, 500, basically around 1389, fine, there was the Battle of Kosovo that was held between the Ottoman Empire and between the Serbia. And in this particular battle, the basically Kosovo region was lost, and the Kosovo region went under the control of the Ottoman Empire, and for nearly 500 years Kosovo stayed as the part of the Ottoman Empire. Now during this particular time, what actually happened? A lot of changes came in the cultural demography of the Kosovo. Large number of people in the Kosovo, they turned to Islam. They converted as Muslims, or the Islamic influence got increased a lot in the Kosovo. Now, guys, what happened in the 19th, in the 20th century? In the 20th century, Kosovo again became the part of the Serbia. But till that time, a lot of cultural changes had come. Now, guys, what happened after the Second World War? Basically, the Kosovo was made as one of the province of the Serbia. But since 1990, there are the many elements in the Kosovo which wanted to have an independence. They did not felt that they are culturally aligned to the Serbia, and therefore in 1990, what happened? The Kosovo Liberation Army was formed, and this Kosovo Liberation Army talked about the independence for the Kosovo region. And finally, in 2008, what happened? The Kosovo was able to declare their independence from the Serbia. But since then, guys, the Serbia has not liked that particular thing, and even the Serbia has challenged this particular thing in the into the ICJ, that is the International Court of Justice. But International Court of Justice has ruled this particular thing, that Kosovo has a right to stay as an independent nation. And since then, these two separate countries are existing side by side. That is, one is Kosovo and other is Serbia. Now, guys, basically, if you focus on this particular map, here we find this particular thing, that there is the northern Kosovo region. Okay, just a minute. So as we have this northern Kosovo region. Now, this particular region is very much in the geographical vicinity of Serbia, and there are large number of Serb people that are living. Now, these people are formally the part of Kosovo, but they feel aligned, culturally aligned to the Serbia. Now, they are minority people, approximately 50,000, or around 5.3% of the total Kosovo's population. 5.3%, they are Serbs. And these Serbs living into the northern part of the Kosovo, from time to time, they have supported the cause to get aligned or to get merged with the Serbia again. And Kosovo says this particular thing, that Serbia gives a lot of patronage to these minority people, and through these minority people, Serbia has tried to incite disturbances within the Kosovo. So this is the charge of the Kosovo against the Serbia, but Serbia says otherwise round. Serbia says that your own people don't want a separate country, they want to get merged with ourselves, and we have not run any propaganda. Now, basically, guys, what has happened since 2008? So from time, as I have told you, that there is the minority of around 50,000 people, or 5.3% of the people who are living into the northern Kosovo. They are the Serbians. Now, these people don't recognize the Kosovo's state institutions. They also get a lot of benefits, pays, salaries from the Serbia's budget, and they don't even pay taxes to the Kosovo. They don't pay taxes to the Pristina, that is the capital of Kosovo. Okay, so they are being supported by the Serbia as of now. Okay, now, guys, what actually has happened since 2008, when the Kosovo became a separate country? European Union and USA, they have tried to broker the peace deal between both of these particular countries also. For example, what happened in 2011? European Union and the USA both provided this particular thing that both, that is Kosovo and Serbia, can join the European Union only if they normalizes the relations between them. Okay. Moreover, in 2013, what happened? Both the countries also reached the Brussels Agreement, and in this particular agreement both the countries agreed on certain things. For example, number one, it was provided that the Kosovo sorry, it was provided that the Serbia backed parallel structures, parallel organizations that are there in the Kosovo, those structures will be dismantled by the Serbia. Then secondly, it was provided that the Kosovo will create the association of the Serb municipalities. Okay, and these association of Serb municipalities will be used to administer the northern part of the Kosovo where the Serbian population is living. Okay, so all these particular things were agreed, but actually what happened, nothing much finally, nothing concrete came in this particular arrangement. Okay, now what happened in 2022, there is one more issue that have erupted in the Kosovo region. So basically guys, we see this particular thing that as these are the two countries, that is the Serbia and Kosovo, so there are the two border checkpoints by which the people from Kosovo can go to Serbia and people from Serbia can come to Kosovo. These are the two border checkpoints. Now basically guys, as an existing rule, if a person is going if the driver is going from Kosovo to Serbia, they have to change their number plate. But in 2022, it is provided by Kosovo also that if somebody is coming from Serbia to Kosovo, they also have to change their number plates. So Kosovo asked Serbian drivers to use temporary Kosovo number plates for their vehicles when they're coming into the country. Now, this is something that has not been liked, and it has become the source of confrontation. And since the past few months, these particular crises are going on. Okay. Now, what has happened? Both the Serbia and Kosovo, they have agreed the European Union's plan that basically the Serbia should not propose the measures against the Kosovo. Okay. Now, understand this particular thing that. Whenever the Kosovo has tried to gain the candidature in any of the UN organizations, Serbia has opposed that particular thing. So now it is being said that the Serbia should not oppose the Kosovo's candidature in the international organizations. Okay, this particular thing has been provided. Moreover, it has also been provided that the Kosovo will form the Serb majority municipalities and will give a lot of power for them for their administration. And by this particular way, they both are trying to resolve the issues and the problems that have come. So this is guys all about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. Well as the and now guys, this particular article reads, will the WHO's pandemic treaty leave out antimicrobial resistance? We'll see this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 3, science and technology, as well as GS paper number 2, issues related to the health also. We are going to see this particular article. This article we have taken from the science section. Now, first of all, let's understand that what is this entire issue. So basically guys, COVID-19 pandemic became a very big concern for the world health, and for ensuring that we can avoid future pandemics, and there is a probability that in future also the pandemics will come. So the World Health Assembly is the highest decision making body under the WHO. It is adopting the pandemic treaty. Now pandemic treaty focuses that how the countries can ensure that the future pandemics are predicted and how the future pandemics can be avoided. Understand this thing that as COVID-19 pandemic started in the China came to know about it in 2019, but it did not share the information till February or January 2020. And because of that particular thing, a lot of problems emerged. So in order to tackle all those things, the pandemic treaty is being adopted. Now basically guys, the health activists, they are proposing that along with the pandemic, antimicrobial resistance should also be included in this pandemic treaty. Now what is antimicrobial resistance? First of all, let's understand this particular thing. So basically guys, antimicrobial resistance is a phenomena by which the infections which are caused by the microbes, so microbes means bacteria, fungi, viruses, parasites. So many infections are being caused by the microbes. Now these infections could be treated by giving the antibiotic drugs, but many number of times these microbes, bacteria, fungi, they become resistant to these antibiotic drugs. Fine, they don't respond to them. So therefore the common infections, they could not be treated if these antibiotics will not function. So antimicrobial resistance means the microbes becoming resistant to the antibiotic drugs. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the antibiotics, there are the first line of antibiotics, second line of antibiotics, third line of antibiotics. This first line of antibiotic will not be able to function. They'll not be able to treat. Then you go to the second line, they will not be able to treat after some time. And then there is this third line, if they will also not be able to treat a disease, then the infections cannot be cured, and large number of people will die because of these particular infections. And the civil societies around the world, they are saying this particular thing, that there is a silent pandemic of antimicrobial resistance that is already going on. Many people die because of the common infections because they could not be treated. And guys, even when we talk about the pandemic, there have been the multiple reports which said that approximately 40% of the death that happened into the COVID-19, it was not because of the COVID, but COVID got treated. After the COVID, they got certain infections. Okay, so you might have also seen that in the second wave of the pandemic that came, many of the infections, fine, bacterial infections people got, and by that they died. Okay, when we talk about the antimicrobial resistance, we find a lot of antimicrobial resistance in the case of the tuberculosis, into the case of the pneumonia. So tuberculosis, pneumonia, they have become drug resistant, and millions of people every year, they are dying because they could not be treated. So, moreover, it has also been said that as we talk about this COVID-19 pandemic, it was caused by the virus, but future pandemics could be caused because of the bacteria also. Okay, so therefore, having robust antimicrobial drugs, ensuring that antimicrobial resistance does not becomes a problem. The activists are saying this particular thing, that within the pandemic treaty, this needs to be added up. Okay, now guys, when we talk about the pandemic treaty, the earlier versions of the pandemic treaty, it addressed that how bacterial pathogens are becoming a big concern and how they should be included, how antimicrobial resistance should be included. So this was provided there. But what has happened recently, a new draft of the pandemic treaty has come out, and here the references of the antimicrobial resistance, they have been dropped out. So therefore the international community, so therefore the health activists, civil societies, they are putting forward that again the antimicrobial resistance should be added into the pandemic treaty, because without that the everlasting health cannot come. So this is, guys, all about this particular article. I hope you have understood it. Now moving to the next article. Forward, the global order as technology's much needed pole star. Now, this particular article, guys, will see with respect to the GS paper number 2, effects of technology on Indian polity. Effects of technology on Indian polity. Okay, let's see this particular article. Now, guys, understand this thing, that in 2000s, around 2000, actually late 90s, there was the dot com bubble burst that happened. Now, what is the dot com bubble burst? See, in 1990s, the internet technologies became a very big phenomena around the world. Okay, and in 2000s, what happened, this dot com bubble burst happened. Many of the tech companies, IT companies that were created, they went bankrupt. Okay, and that basically financial decline that came, it is called as the dot com bubble burst. Fine. However, after that, again the technology have recovered, again the technological companies, they have recovered, and today the information technology, internet based companies, they are disrupting our daily lives, they are even transforming our daily lives. But now the article is saying that these emerging technologies pose a threat to the idea of the nation state, Now, guys, when we talk about the nation state, the political scientists have explained the nation state as a territorially bounded sovereign polity. Territorially bounded sovereign polity. For example, guys, when we talk about the India has a territory. Fine, India has a territory, and this territory is there, and in this territory, the government of India is a sovereign entity. Okay, but with the technology, there are many challenges that are coming. Let's understand the first challenge. Basically, guys, when the citizens are living in a particular country, it is the country's responsibility to protect these citizens from the terrorist attacks, to provide them law and order, all these kind of things. But now, because of the cyber technologies that have emerged, people living within the boundaries, they are facing many of the new challenges. For example, cyber attacks. Now cyber attacks are being made on the people, cyber attacks are being made on the institutions, banking, okay. Also they become a national security interest, but we cannot control many number of times these things, because they are unpredictable and they are being executed from the other countries where India might not have the jurisdiction. So this is one challenge that is coming. Then the second challenge in this particular direction that is coming here is that, understand this particular thing, that the conventional geographical boundaries today have become redundant. There is the virtual activity that is going on, free flow of information is there, which is going on from one country to another country, free flow of data is going on from one country to another country. So the geographical boundaries, they have become meaningless. Understand this particular thing, guys, that as geographical boundaries have become meaningless, even the executives, legislature, judiciary, they cannot control many of the activities emerging from other countries but impacting the India. Okay, understand this particular thing. Suppose there is some cyber hackers, there are some cyber hackers, they are attacking Indian banks. Now government might not be do anything. For example, suppose these hackers are situated in Russia, they are situated in the USA or any other country. India, first of all, tracing them will be a very big problem. Then taking steps on them by the Indian executive, legislature, judiciary might not be very much effective. This is something that is there. Then guys, the third issue that comes here is that, see, many of the activities that were earlier the sovereign acts, for example, publishing the maps. So earlier the maps of the country could only be published by the government or the military institutions, but now the Apple, Google, they are publishing the maps in the real time. Basically, in these particular maps, often there could be the distortion that can be done. For example, some part of the Indian territory could be shown as the part of China, part of Pakistan. It might impact our national interest, but we cannot do anything on this particular thing. Then fourthly, on the economic front also, we see this particular thing. For example, five largest American tech companies, that is Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, their valuation have surpassed the Germany's GDP. Now Germany is the fourth largest economy in the world, and Germany's GDP has been surpassed by these five technological companies. All of them are American and they have a lot of data. Fine, they have a lot of data, and today data has become the new oil. And as these handful companies are controlling so much of the data, they hold a lot of influence, okay. And even this particular data of Indians is not in the control of India. The data is free flowing. So basically guys, today as we talk about the challenges that are coming, India needs to create a principle based global order for technology. We need to first of all have laws with respect to the data transfer. In this direction, already the Reserve Bank of India has also come out with the data localization. What is the data localization? Now understand this particular thing, guys, that all the data that is being generated by the Indians, fine, it is being stored into the cloud, and then there are some physical servers also that this data is stored. So these physical servers need to be located in India only. That is the data localization. So this was something that we did earlier, but then we did not pursue it that too much. So on data transfer, on data privacy, we need to come out with the laws, okay, and we need to create the global principles. And why India can do that? Because this year India is a chairman at the G20. So we can propose such global order for these particular kind of things. Fine. So that is all guys about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to the next article. Seeing India's energy transition through its state. Now, what this particular article is talking about, guys, this particular article is talking about India's energy transition and how the states will play a very important role in the India's transition. Now, what is, guys, the India's energy transition? So right now our energy is coming from a lot of carbon, from a lot of carbon based technologies. Our energy is coming from burning the coal. Our energy is coming from burning the crude oil, natural gas. So from these carbon based technologies, we need to move towards the green technologies, we need to move towards the renewable energies, we need to move towards solar, wind power, etc. So India is going towards the energy transition. Fine. Now guys, in this particular capacity, India has taken certain targets and pledges also. Let's take their example. For example, what has happened, India has already taken the target that 50% of our electricity will be coming from the non-fossil sources by 2030. We will achieve the net zero emission by 2070. Okay, by 2070 the carbon emissions of India will be net zero, means that whatever carbon emission we are emitting will absorb the similar carbon. Fine. So by 2030, 50% of our electricity will come from renewable, and by 2070 we will achieve the carbon neutrality. These are the two goals that India had taken. Now in this particular transition, the states will play a very important role. Okay, now understand this thing already guys. India had taken a target that by 2020, 175 gigawatt of renewable energy was to be created. Now in that also states played a very important role. And guys, when we talk about 175 gigawatt of renewable energy, the state of Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan played a very important role, and they met their individual targets. Now see this thing, if 175 gigawatt is to be achieved, every state will be given some target. For example, Haryana achieves 2 gigawatt, Rajasthan achieve 5 gigawatt, Gujarat achieve 3 gigawatt, UP achieve 10 gigawatt. So every state will be given the individual target. Now in this, Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan are the only states which actually met their independent individual targets. And when we talk about the present renewable energy, actually 80% of the India's renewable energy right now is coming from the six states in the west and the south India, in which Gujarat, Rajasthan again play a very important role. So majority of the states are neither achieving their renewable energy target, nor they are very much eager to do that particular thing. Now, the article gives four reasons that why states are very much crucial for the energy transition. Now, number one, guys, states are actually the sphere of implementation. If a solar panel is to be deployed, windmill is to be deployed, obviously it will be deployed in any one of the state. So states are the spheres of the implementation. Center can only come out with the goal, but actual achievement of the goal depends on to the state. Second thing, guys, that when we talk about this, that the electricity sector, there are legacy issues in the electricity sector. For example, electricity sector is always very high loss activity. There is always unreliable supply of electricity, service of electricity supply is not very much good, distribution companies of electricity, they are running in high losses. Now all these particular problems often are because of the state political environment. Okay, often there is a lot of political interference. For example, state comes out with the policy and give incentives to the farmers. For example, all the electricity going to the agricultural fields, no bill could be charged for that. Because of these political actions taken at the state level, all these issues actually have emerged. Electricity theft is also because the state is not very much active in ensuring that electricity theft doesn't happen. Third, the states are actually the laboratories of the policy innovation. Fine. How the solar energy, wind energy can be promoted, how the people can be given more incentives. All these experiments are done onto the state basis, and then these things can be created in terms of the policy. Now, guys, when we talk about the PM Kusum, fine, which promotes the solar energy. Fine, it basically this particular scheme, fine, the adoption of this particular scheme is successful because the states have played a very important role here, and even the state have given their inputs for this particular scheme as well. Then states could also be roadblocks to the national goals. If states don't achieve their target, then the national goals will be defeated. Now, guys, in this particular direction, basically what has happened, Central has come out with the idea of the state action plans on climate change. Now, state action plan have been recommended fine on the climate change, and there will also be the state level steering committees for the energy transition. Now these state level steering committees and state action plan will come out with a blueprint that how a particular state is going to achieve their energy targets. Okay, moreover, the central agencies, find the Ministry of Environment, for example, they have developed multiple indexes to rank the states, fine, that what they have done for energy transition, whether they have take adequate number of steps or not. And on these particular basis, the center monitors the state's activities, etc. Now the article is saying that there needs to be the better monitoring of these particular activities at the state level, so that the states collectively achieve their individual targets. Okay, so this is guys all about this particular article. Now moving to the next article. The Indian polity, a democratic diagnosis. Now, basically, guys, this particular article is written by Mr. Hamid Ansari, find the former vice president. Now, guys, the article is actually containing too much of the political undertones. For example, the article is saying this particular thing that today the parliament has lost its effectiveness. There are many of the reasons because of this particular thing. Scrutiny over the bills is not going on, debates in the parliament are not being carried, any MP giving the dissent, they are not being treated properly. Okay, also this particular thing, the article is also saying this particular thing that our parliamentary system, which was crafted with a lot of care and which was expected to achieve the law making, accountability of the executive, the approval of the taxation proposals. Okay, all these particular things are today undergoing a challenge, and these challenges are on many fronts. For example, social media, there is nationalism, hindutva, all these kind of things are going on today. The lawmaking is being done to mesmerize the public, particularly the middle class. The narratives such as making India as a Vishwa Guru, all these things are being said. Okay, so this is something which some these kind of narratives have become more important into the parliamentary process rather than the actual work. So this is a kind of an idea that is going on. However, we'll not go too much in detail in this particular article, because then it will not be, because the article is not that much relevant for the exam point of view. Now, coming to the next article, 508 districts in country are free of manual scavenging. So basically, guys, the Ministry of Social Justice have released its report and they say that the manual scavenging in a country does not exist. What is manual scavenging? So basically, guys, manual scavenging is an act of carrying the human excreta on the head and disposing it. Now, many number of times, and actually most of the times, the manual scavenging is tied to the caste, particularly the Dalit people. They are made to do these particular things, and therefore manual scavenging was something which was against the dignity of the humans. So therefore there was the call to remove the manual scavenging, and now the government says that the manual scavenging has been eliminated from the country, but there is only the cleaning of sewers and septic tanks that is continuing. Okay, so cleaning of the sewers is not the manual scavenging. Okay, and it is continuing. And even the Ministry of Social Justice have provided this thing. 508 out of the 766 districts have declared themselves of the free of manual scavenging. Okay, this is something that is saying. And with respect to the cleaning of sewers, cleaning of the septic tanks, for this particular thing, the government has come out with the schemes also, that is the Namaste scheme, for 100% mechanization of the sewer work, so that a person has not to enter there. Okay, so the Namaste scheme is coming. So understand, one, manual scavenging has been removed, manual cleaning of the sewers is there. For that, the Namaste scheme has been brought, which will bring the mechanization. But there is a problem with respect to the scheme also. According to the experts, they say that first of all, the scheme's guidelines have not been completely finalized till now. Okay, the scheme will require 4800 urban local bodies across the countries to come together, identify the septic tanks, sewers. Okay, and to provide the training, safety equipment to the people who are cleaning them. They have to be provided machines, they have to be provided safety equipment, they have to be provided training, they also have to be given the health insurance under the Ayushman Bharat scheme. But all these particular things have not been completed as of now. Even there is no tangible concrete plan that how these particular things are being done. Okay, so this is something that has happened. Moreover, it has also been provided to increase the mechanization. The capital subsidies are also to be provided to the workers. What is capital subsidy? For example, a truck, a machine is to be purchased. For that, the money is to be provided as a capital subsidy. But that particular thing also, find success has not happened on this particular thing. So this is about the government's data and their analysis. So that is all about it. And now we'll move to the next article. Internet economy to hit $1 trillion by 2030. So we can use this particular data to complement our answers in the GS paper number 3. Fine. So basically, guys, what has happened? There is the report that is the economy of billion connected Indians. Now, this particular report is published by the Google, Bryan and Company and Temsec. According to this particular report, India's internet economy, B2C e-commerce firms. Okay, B2C. B2C stands for business to customer. So business to customer e-commerce firms, for example, Flipkart, Amazon, edtech companies, okay, edutech companies, their valuation will hit $1 trillion, $1 trillion by 2030. Right now their valuation is $175 billion, and it will reach to $1 trillion by 2030. This is going to be there. And why this growth will come? This growth will come because of the consumption of internet users that are going to increase in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. Okay, so tier 2 plus locations, villages, more and more people are going to use internet, and by that more consumption of the, see, e-commerce firms, edutech firms, their valuation will increase and it will reach to $1 trillion. So this particular reference, guys, you can give in your GS paper number 3 answers. Fine. Now moving to the next article. Doctors must strictly comply with law on reporting the POCSO offences, Karnataka High Court. Now, guys, POCSO stands for Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. As per the POCSO Act, no person can make any sexual relation with a person below than the age of 18 years. So even if a person of 18 years have given the consent, still sexual relations cannot be maintained by them. Now guys, what is happening? Suppose there is a girl child, let's say she is a 15-year-old. Now if any particular person has made any sexual relation with this particular girl, and let's say she has become pregnant, then this particular girl will be taken to the doctor for the termination of the pregnancy. Now doctors often ask their age, that what is your age, but the doctors often don't verify that particular age. See, we have the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, according to which the abortion can be done. Now, but understand this thing, the abortions can be done only legally by the women who are above the 18 years of age. If a woman is below the 18 years of age, simply she could not involve in sexual intercourse, and if the pregnancy has happened, it is because of the sexual intercourse that has happened, and it is the violation of the POCSO Act. So basically guys, what is happening, the doctors often, they are not reporting the termination of pregnancy for the women who are less than the 18 years of age. The POCSO Act particularly requires that the doctors, they need to ensure the strict compliance whenever a women of less than 18 years of age have come to them for the pregnancy related to complications, abortion. They have to report that thing. If they are not reporting that particular thing, it is a crime, it is an offense. Okay, so therefore it is necessary for the state to direct strict compliance with the section 9, particularly by the doctors who are indulging into the medical termination of the pregnancy. They have to report. Now this particular case came because there was a girl of 12 years who got pregnant, and the abortion of the abortion was to be taken up. Fine, she was taken to the hospital and it was reported that she is 18 years and 3 months, but actually she was just a 12 year. Now doctors did not verified the age and did not reported this particular matter. So these particular things are needed to be taken very carefully as per the Karnataka High Court. Okay, now moving to the next article. Unfazed by sanctions, Iran unveils new hypersonic missile that can cover 1400 kilometers. So guys, what has happened? The Iran has unveiled their missile by the name of the Fateh. By the name of the Fateh. Now this particular missile, it is a hypersonic missile. Hypersonic missile is one which can run, which can go at least 5 times more than the speed of sound. And this hypersonic missile Fatah can go 15 times of the speed of the sound. And this particular new missile have created tensions for the United States, because guys, United States consider North Korea as an adversary, and North Korea's nuclear program, always the West worries on this particular thing. So because of this particular missile also, the Western world, they have become worried. As of now, much details that what will be the maneuvering capabilities of this particular missile, all these things, what will be the trajectory, they have not come very clearly out in the public domain. Okay, however guys, not required to go too much in detail, fine, because we need to understand more about the Indian missiles and all such kind of things. Fine. Now taking up the mains practice question for today. So the question reads that the states are critical actors in India's energy transition. In this context, there is a need for a state level framework to understand plans, actions, and governance process towards an energy transition. Right? So this guys will be a 10 marker questions for the GS paper number 2. So that is all about it, and with this we come to an end to the today's session. Guys, I hope that you have understood the session and you have liked it. Guys, if you have liked it, please do hit the like button. Thank you so much.